Yeah, so hi everyone. I have Cooper from Austin Labs with me, and we had a fantastic panel a while ago. We talked about everything which is happening in this space, how layer twos, layer threes are scaling, specifically how Arbitrum is looking towards this new future. So Cooper, we didn't talk about universal intent engine. I think we heard Ed Felton this morning,
hmm
during his keynote. But I think I would request you to elaborate more upon, how it impacts the projects per se, because technically, it can be a complex thing. But how can we simply explain it to the users who are building on Arbitrum today?
Yeah, I think that it's best to start with maybe the background for why interoperability is such a essential problem to be solving. When we decided to scale Ethereum, we naturally landed on the rollup as this primitive, and that resulted in all these islands of applications and liquidity and users that really have a difficult time communicating with each other. So when we decided how we wanted to solve this, we really approached it from a deeply user-driven perspective, where we said, what is the experience we want users to have when they use applications on Arbitrum or on any Arbitrum chain using the Orbit stack? And we came up with this tagline, which was under 3 second swaps and transfers to and from any Ethereum chain. And so the idea there is that within the context of the application that you're using, you don't have to go to a canonical bridge. You don't have to use a third-party page. It's all just within the seamless experience. And so that naturally landed on the intents framework for how we would approach the problem. And so intents are basically this really great solution where a user can just express, the intention of their, state change, saying, I want to, put this asset on this chain at this address. And another ecosystem of actors called solvers will basically figure out all the complicated routing, DEX aggregation that needs to be done to get from A to B. And so this leaves the user with a really great experience where they actually walk away with their assets in a matter of seconds. They pay a small fee to solvers who are going to be paid for the risk and also the work of doing this kind of aggregation. But the user gets to immediately use that app. So it solves this really great, really big cold start and onboarding problem. So you can just get right to being a user, and applications can have a faster onboarding experience.
Right. Now, this is great, but I wanna ask you a tougher question. And that is, we have seen that each ecosystem is building their own interop solutions. In Polkadot we have XCM, and in Avalanche we have ICM. Now in Arbitrum we got a solution. So is in our intent is for everybody, or is only for Arbitrum ecosystem chains? And how do you see the idea about overall Web3 ecosystem interoperability going in future?
Yeah, I think that interoperability will continue to be, very heterogeneous. There will be a lot of solutions out there because there's just a lot of different, bridges, VMs, chain stacks, and so I think there's going to be this, very, competitive layer of many different types of solutions. Intents being one of them. But what I think is going to be important is that there's going to be a wrapper around all of that, so that as an app, you can kind of plug into one place and get the benefits of whatever is underneath that layer. So an application doesn't have to make multiple decisions of bridging partners and integration choices. It should just have one kind of clear option. And for users, all of that complexity should also be hidden. And so, this looks like not needing to know, which chain your assets are on. This looks like maybe not even knowing what chain the app is on. You're just kind of using this experience of like a somewhat financialized application, and the blockchain is the back end. So I think the way it's going to roll out, we see this Intents engine is connecting any Arbitrum application, any Arbitrum chain to all of Ethereum. It's not going to be limited to just within the Arbitrum ecosystem, which I think is pretty unique as far as the interoperability solutions that other stacks are taking. We really want to grow the pie, and we want users to be able to express their preferences, have very little friction from going to A to B and using any app. And I think that this kind of is a great step. There'll be more kind of deeper protocol solutions that might come later. But Intents engine is something that we thought we could bundle together, deliver in the next month or two. I think we expect it to come out in April on the initial set of chains. So that's our approach so far.
I think fantastic, and this is what I love about Web3 ecosystem comparing, what we have seen in Web2 in the past. That everybody's so open about, how they want to approach the future together. And I have the similar thoughts, and all I've heard from all the other framework stacks and chains is that they want to come together somewhere in the future and standardize this. And I think I hear the same from you when you talk about how users would be enriched with these, experiences of interop without caring about what chain they are running upon. So this is good to know. Now, you're at Zeeve Rollup and App Chain Day. you've been on a panel as well. And we've been busy building Arbitrum Orbit chains, helping customers build these chains. And now recently we started offering Arbitrum Orbit testnet in $50. We're making it as easy as possible for the projects to adopt the solutions. So how important do you think these kind of infrastructure solutions and enablements are there for ecosystem?
Yeah, I think incredibly important. I think that we're at this really amazing time where, as a builder, your options of just picking a few right partners can actually get you to accelerate your go-to-market by months. When I've been part of several kind of chain launches, and years ago it used to take at least a year to get all the infrastructure partners that you would need onboarded so that you could offer kind of a best-in-class experience for the builders in your chain. Now, if you partner with a robo-as-a-service team like Zeeve, you accelerate that go-to-market, and it's a matter of weeks. Your team has the partners, you have the infrastructure integrations, and you can kind of bundle all that in a way that it's it's simple as sometimes just clicking deploy. So I think that's a huge step up from where we used to come from, where teams would roll their own infrastructure, and it just helps you as a builder focus on your special value add and get closer to the user. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You want to make sure that you're focusing on the unique product value. And sometimes the infrastructure is just there to support you, and you should be on that kind of last mile of capturing the user, engaging, retaining them. So I think partnering with the infrastructure team is definitely the way to go.
Super insight. And I think if you're a project built on Arbitrum Orbit, we're here. Arbitrum is here. And let's talk about taking you to the testnet and the mainnet. Thank you, Cooper.
Sounds great. Yeah, thanks for having me.